In the eyes of history, what makes a moment worth remembering? That's the question being asked by a prairie-rooted theatrical romp that has indeed been romping around the prairies for the past number of weeks. The Martian and the Mound is a co-production between Winnipeg's One Trunk Theatre, Theatre Projects Manitoba, not to mention the Candlewick Players out of Morden. The show has been making its rounds in the Pembina Valley and is about to be shown on the stage at the Gas Station Arts Centre starting tonight. The show is also shaped by the music created by Altona's Andrew Braun and Paul Bergman, who join us on Classic 107 today to tell us a bit more about the show. Nice to have you both.
Nice to be here.
Pleasure to be here.
So, in the eyes of history, Paul, I'll ask you this question first. What makes a moment... No, I'm kidding. I won't ask that big existential question right off the hop. But maybe without giving too much away here, Paul, how would you describe the plot of The Martian and the Mound?
That is a good question. It takes place in southern Manitoba in the future, and a Martian, a former descendant of humans from Earth, who is now on Mars, has come to southern Manitoba to sort of see what's been going on, and then that begins their journey through the history of this area, going back to 80 million years ago when the dinosaurs were here and that sort of thing, and tries to sort out what happened here and what was special about this place through the landscape, the animals, the humans, the history, in all sorts of facets. And then they just sort of, we walk with that main character through their journey of learning what was impactful and meaningful to humans here. How'd I do, Andrew?
That's pretty good. Yeah, pretty good. It starts at 80 million years and then goes, 150 years from now or so? So it's like past and future.
Yeah.
So with all of that history, all of that ground in time to cover, Andrew, how does the music evolve maybe throughout the show, and how does it enhance this theatrical experience?
Well, we tried to so one of the recurring lines in the play is about time being circular, not linear. So we tried to take our approach. We took all the pieces together, and they kind of are the constant. Like, the sounds don't change. We don't try to do like, oh, this is the music of 80 million years ago, this is the music of now, or this is the music of the future. We just we made up a genre that we called ambient sci-fi spaghetti folk. And that's kind of, for us, that covers the landscape, and that kind of just like weaves in and out of everything that's going on, and it covers past, present, future, sonically in our minds anyway. And then so there are just some recurring themes that are based on some of Paul's little tunes that he had kicking around. And I don't mean little. I'm not sorry, Paul. I saw that reaction.
No, I love it. It's good.
They were short.
So small. They were and
short.
They are.
And so those became like recurring themes that we attached to different moods and eras of the play, and then we just kind of made like theme variations kind of stuff based on those little tunes.
The sonic palette of ambient sci-fi spaghetti folk is something that I'm trying to wrap my brain around. What, if you were to describe the sonic qualities of The Martian and the Mound, Andrew, how would you describe what audiences are about to hear here in Winnipeg?
Well, we've got, like, instrumentation wise, it's sort of a mix of Paul's guitar playing, which is acoustic guitar, but through a bunch of effects. And then we've got some, kind of sci-fi, dorky, spacey, synth kind of sounds, a lot of piano, and then a few like kind of dancey beat sections. What else is in there, Paul? That's kind of it. And some, like sounds and found sounds and weird moaning and all kinds of stuff.
So within your musical lives, I would say this is a piece that is maybe a bit different from the typical sort of environments that maybe we would find you both in, Andrew and Paul, with your work, working with different bands and as singer-songwriters. Paul, how does the experience of working in theater shape you musically? In other words, what does this experience inspire in you that maybe your more typical singer-songwriter voyage might not?
Nolan, that's a good question. And the thing is, just to be very clear, speaking of inspiration, your mustache is impressive. So thank you for that. I've never been able to do that, so I'm a little bit envious, but I want to make that noted. So thank you.
I guess you're welcome.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, it's interesting because I think what's been the people we're working with, the cast and the One Trunk Theatre crew and Theatre Projects Manitoba, but we're dealing most closely with One Trunk Theatre. They've been so good and encouraging and uplifting and professional. That's been a lovely collaboration. But fusing it's been a neat objective, like what Andrew was saying. We're taking some of the cases, they were kind of songs that we just sort of distilled and truncated into little vignettes in the play. And it's a neat objective to have, because Andrew and I think are both like this at this point, where like going into a project like this, we don't really care what does and doesn't work. Like, so long as it fits with the play, so long as the people directing the play are happy, it's kind of a nice, like, our names are obviously on it at some level, but it's less self-centered in a way, and just sort of deferring to just really wanting to the music to flow with and sort of empathize with the pacing of the play. I think is a very helpful place to get into, to not get too lost into, well, what do I think about this? It doesn't matter what I think about it. Like, is this working objectively, quote unquote, with the project? I think that's probably one of my more favorite experiences or elements of this, to just be in a very deferential place, if that makes sense.
Yeah. So this deferential sort of environment that you are both working in is part of a collaboration that's taken place over the last number of months. Lots of it happening in rural Manitoba, specifically in the village of Nebertal, I understand. How did that process, I'll use your word here again, Paul, differentiation, how did that take shape as you were workshopping the Martian and the Mound?
Am I going to answer that?
I'll throw that to whoever wants it.
You go.
Well,
first.
I think another interesting part of this is that we also we worked on the script a lot as well, which was new. I mean, I don't think, Paul, have you done something like that before? I haven't. So that was like, we kind of showed up on one of the first days and they were like, write a monologue. And I was kind of like, I don't know how to do that. I thought we were gonna make sounds in the background, but so we were kind of like swept like really deep into the thing right from the start, and we were also, we'd have these writing things, and then we would go off and we would noodle around on our instruments, and they would, it all kind of grew together, which was a really cool experience. And as the director and people have said, like, the music just, they feel like they're really firmly attached, like they're a part of each other, and because they've just grown over however long, like a year and a half or whatever we've been working on this thing for. And I think that's been really cool to see and to experience and be a part of, because, like, I don't know, we started out, it was kind of like, is this gonna be a thing? Like, and now it's on stage and it works, and it's pretty fun to have seen it all come together.
So in addition to seeing it all come together, you've seen it actually performed now in a couple of instances as well, in a couple of different places in New Berchtold and Morden, I understand, before now taking it to Winnipeg audiences. Paul, as you've been looking at the audience's reactions, how has what you've seen the audience respond to change the show over the course of its run, or has it?
Yeah, that's fascinating. I don't, there must be some studies on like communal psychology or something, because in each show, in each place, like the lines that get laughed at change from night to night, and like how laughy a crowd is, and like, because you can't tell obviously during the actual performance if you're not laughing. Like I can't see or hear if people are crying or something, like if it's that kind of emotion. But it's very difficult to perceive, at least for me, in the moment how things are landing. But it has been variable to some degree, obviously. And on the whole, though, whatever. To be fair, I guess people don't come up to us and say, "Hey, that was not really a very good show." So there's that. But there have been a lot of people have had a good time of it, and the other thing I've appreciated is the range of ages. Like my niece came, and I was worried that some of the stuff might be a little bit uninteresting or even a little bit scary at times to her. She loved it through and through. So like kids have been enjoying it, adults have been enjoying it. So that's been fun to see the width of interest, I would say.
So the show is about to take the stage at the Gas Station Arts Center. Who knows? Maybe an audience member here in mean old Winnipeg might come up to you and say that part wasn't good or something like that. What do you think, Andrew? What do you think that we'll call it an urban audience will take away from this show and telling the history of the Pembina Valley that maybe people who live in the Pembina Valley might not?
Well, I think like the setting is very specific, and a little bit. Some of the material is pretty like very southern Manitoba, but like overall themes and big picture kind of stuff is pretty universal. So I don't think there's too much that's going to be like, oh, we don't get these jokes or whatever. There's a couple of sort of, Mennonite specific kind of jokes and things like that, which probably played better in New Berchtold than they would in Winnipeg here. But like, I think overall the messages are universal, and I think it'll translate pretty well to a different audience.
One last question to the both of you, which is, and I'll start with you, Andrew. So Paul, you get the benefit of thinking about it for a second longer. How being a part of this show, how has being a part of the Martian and the Mound maybe change the way that you see the community, the region in which you live?
Well, I think there's kind of a bit of a default mode of, nothing really happens around here, or like, it's boring, or, there's nothing to do, or, all these kinds of things. And I think like having moved away and I lived elsewhere for a long time, and I moved back like 5 years ago. I think maybe the play sort of helps to, underscore some of the things that you do come back for, like community, family, like these kind of like the things that are hard to find in other places. And those are kind of big themes that happen here. And I think it helps remind us that there are important and beautiful things happening all around us all the time.
What about for you, Paul? What has being a part of the Martian and the Mound maybe illuminated for you about the experience of living in the Pembina Valley?
First off, Nolan, I love that you're able to get out of Andrew these open, emotional answers anytime, but especially at this time of day.
It's the mustache.
It's true. It's true. No, I would say something quite similar. Like, I think I've probably been more affected in a way by the process of the play, like bringing it all together. And the people at One Trunk Theatre emphasize the importance of the value and integrity of the process and the relationships that are created within it. Like, at least for me, the time we've spent together workshopping the thing way back when, rehearsing it, all that with cast and everybody, they've just been lovely times. And I it's my hope and belief that that kind of love and affection amongst us as people, like that emanates out, and that the joy we take in each other's presence and whatnot, that I feel it is a palpable thing. And I hope and I think, like, I when I'm the recipient of that in an audience, when I feel that from a stage or whatever, I do feel that. So I hope that comes across to the people attending. Yeah, and that would be more of my sort of takeaway. The broad spectrum of the play, it's the time span it sort of looks at in this, for this area, is awesome to just help contextualize, I think, how it is, how else we might find meaning, or just to understand the value and impact of our lives. It helps, I think, to set it within the context that it actually is within, and it helps sift out a little what does and doesn't matter.
The Martian and the Mound takes place tonight, actually, November 14th through the 16th at the Gas Station Arts Center. We'll have more information and a link to get your tickets at our website later on today, classic107.com, and on the Classic 107 app. Andrew Braun and Paul Bergman, it's been such a joy getting to hear more about this production from the two of you. All the best for this weekend's run.
Thank you.
Thank you.